Red Bull engineers said his car feedback is more accurate than their own telemetry at 200 miles per hour. The skill that makes everything else possible, because without this, none of the other 7 skills exist. Max Verstappen is standing at the edge of a kart track in Belgium. His son is 9 years old. Cold morning air, the smell of fuel and damp rubber. Before the session, Max crouches behind the kart. He adjusts the tire pressure, shifts the brake balance, tweaks the rear setup. He says nothing. He stands back up. He watches. Max doesn't know what changed. That's the entire point. He goes out, he drives, he comes back in, and then Max asks, "What do you feel?" Not what happened, not what the lap time was. What do you feel? This happens again and again. Different tweaks, same silence, session after session, season after season, until the feedback loop between driver and machine becomes something closer to instinct than learned skill. Red Bull engineers have described his verbal car feedback as more precise and more immediate than their own telemetry data at 200 miles per hour. In 2025, the RB21 was not the fastest car in the field for most of the season. McLaren was faster, more reliable, better on tires. Piastri and Norris were taking poles and controlling races. And then Monza arrived, round 16. Red Bull brought a floor upgrade, and Verstappen posted the fastest qualifying lap in the history of Formula One. Not just fast, the fastest of all time, in a car that had been losing for months. The car feel never left him. Even when the car was broken, he was extracting every last millisecond it had. That is not something you coach into a driver in a classroom. It was built on a kart track at 9 years old, in silence, by a father who understood that feel is the one thing telemetry will never replace. Now, is that the single greatest act of car control in a qualifying session ever recorded? That debate belongs in the comments. And that car feel, that physical conversation with the machine, feeds directly into the next skill, the one that makes his rivals furious every time he uses it. The move that shouldn't be possible. Every driver on this grid brakes late. That is not a skill. That is ambition. What Verstappen does is something else entirely. In Formula One, the braking zone before a corner is measured in meters in milliseconds. The average elite driver, Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, brakes somewhere around 80 to 100 meters before a turn. Verstappen has been documented braking 10 to 15 meters later than those same rivals, at the same corner, at the same speed, and still making the apex cleanly. Imola 2025, race start. Piastri is on pole, Verstappen is second on the grid. The lights go out, and Piastri, focused on defending against Russell behind him, brakes fractionally early into Tamburello. That's all Verstappen needs. He dives to the outside on the opening lap against the pole sitter, braking impossibly late, and takes the lead before anyone processes what just happened. The FIA voted it Action of the Year at their end-of-season gala. Not because it was brave, because physically nobody else on that grid would have committed to that line at that moment. That move worked because he already knew, half a second before the car found the limit of grip, exactly where that limit was. That knowledge doesn't come from braking drill practice. You cannot brake that late unless you know precisely what the car is going to do when it gets there. He is running at a threshold other drivers experience as a crash. He treats it like a Tuesday. Hamilton fans, your man was the king of late braking in his era. No serious argument. But peak 2019 Hamilton versus peak 2025 Verstappen, same car, same corner, same braking zone. Who holds the later marker? Make that argument in the comments. I want to see it.
You want to see the real Verstappen? Wait for rain. Brazil 2024. He starts from 17th. The track is wet. There are 16 cars between him and the lead. Watch that race back and pay attention to how he moves through traffic. It isn't fast driving, it's forensic. He isn't racing them, he is consuming them one by one, lap by lap, until there is nobody left. He won from 17th in the wet. That race ended the debate for a significant portion of the F1 audience that was still sitting on the fence about whether Verstappen was truly all-time elite. Then 2025, Australia, season opener, wet conditions, Red Bull behind on pace. In the dry, they were fighting for points. In the wet, Verstappen was fighting for the podium. Same car, different driver. Here's why wet weather is where he separates from the entire field. When it rains, the numbers stop working. Grip levels change corner to corner, lap to lap, sector to sector. Engineers are guessing. Strategists are flying blind. Most drivers go conservative because their reference points have been removed from them. Verstappen doesn't have that problem. His reference point was never data, it was feel. Wet weather is a setting where every other driver loses their primary tool while he keeps all of his. Rain doesn't level the playing field, it tilts it in his direction. Imagine being 104 points behind championship leader Piastri, knowing your car is eating its tires faster than every rival on the grid, and knowing that one wrong throttle input on a bad lap cost you 3 positions at the end. That was Verstappen for 4 months in 2025. Early career Verstappen was a destroyer of tires, aggressive entries, hard exits, maximum attack every lap, brilliant to watch, expensive in points. What happened between 2021 and 2023 is one of the most remarkable individual evolutions in modern motorsport. He found a way to be brutal and gentle at the same time, driving on the absolute limit while somehow asking less of the tire than drivers going 3/10 slower. Then 2025 tested this on a level nobody anticipated. The RB21 in the first half of the season was difficult. Unstable cars destroy tires. They ask the rubber to do too much compensating work every lap. Verstappen was managing an ill-handling car and managing degradation at the same time, and he was still extracting more points from that machinery than any other driver on the grid would have managed. Red Bull's team leadership said after the season that his ability to perform in an inferior car was something they had never witnessed before, not from any driver, externally or internally. That wasn't a press release, that was a confession. He turned a tire management problem into points advantage. Nobody noticed until the season was already over. Now Verstappen went from 104 points down to 2 points from the title in 2025. Read that again. 104 points in a sport where a single DNT costs you 25. Is that the single greatest mid-season comeback in F1 history? Better than Schumacher's charge in 1994? Or better than Lauda's surviving 1976? Or is comparing across eras the wrong argument entirely? That one's for the comments. I've got a view, but I want yours first.
He doesn't react to where you are. He's already where you want to be. People talk about his overtaking. That's fair. But his defending might actually be more impressive. And it's the part of his racecraft that gets least discussed. Remember what we are building here. This is not a highlight reel. This is the case for the greatest of all time. Racecraft is a chess match at speed. It's about reading your opponent's intentions before they act, positioning the car to eliminate attack lines before they open up, and doing it all within the rules, or very close to the edge of them. His defending is built entirely on prediction. He doesn't cover where a rival is. He occupies where they want to go, half a second before they decide to go there. You cannot pass someone who is already standing in your destination. Silverstone, 2025. Norris tracks him for 12 laps on fresh tires, attacks 3 consecutive corners on lap 38, and leaves with nothing. Not because Verstappen was faster, because every door Norris opened, Verstappen had already shut. One defensive sequence, no contact, race decided. In 2025, the Verstappen-Norris title battle was a season-long masterclass in racecraft from both sides. The tool Senna never had and Verstappen has weaponized. Senna never had this. Schumacher had early versions of it. Verstappen has turned it into a competitive discipline. He doesn't casually use a racing simulator. He competes in them at the highest level against professional sim racers who do nothing else, often in the days before actual race weekends, using the virtual environment to preload circuit data into his muscle memory before the real car ever turns a wheel. Picture the night before a race weekend. Midnight, he's at his sim setup, running the same corner sequence 40 times, not moving on until the braking marker is locked into his hands. No engineers watching, no cameras, just repetition until it stops feeling like practice. His brain doesn't know the difference between a lap run in a simulator and a lap run in the real car. By the time he gets to the circuit, the track already lives in his hands. The installation lap is a formality. The real work was done at home 3 days before.
Here's what separates good from great in any sport. Not what happens when things are going well, what happens when everything is on the line and the entire season comes down to one afternoon. In 2023, the criticism was direct. He was only winning because of the car. The RB19 was dominant enough that season that many argued the title was settled before it began. If the skill is real, went the argument, let's see it when the machinery isn't perfect. Abu Dhabi 2025. To take the title, he needs to win the race and hope Norris doesn't finish on the podium. That scenario should produce tension. Instead, he takes pole. He leads from the first corner. He builds a gap. He manages the gap. He's 12 seconds clear at the flag, the most dominant performance of his entire 2025 season, produced on the single day his entire 2025 season came down to. His best performance of the year arrived on the day he needed it most. That is not luck. That is a trained behavioral response. The pressure in Abu Dhabi 2025 wasn't new to Max Verstappen. He'd been living in versions of it since he was 9 years old. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And drop your GOAT argument in the comments right now. Hamilton, Senna, Schumacher, Verstappen. One name, your reason. I want to see the debate.